Hey guys. So for this week, we are going to go over a few tips for running. We've been doing a lot of running in our workouts. Some persons may not have had this much running in their past, or maybe it's something that's new to you at this point. Maybe we're building up to running for us. So I wanted to give you guys a few things to think about as we're increasing our volume as well as our load of our running, and see if these can be some helpful tips to you. All right, the first one, breathing. This has a lot of carryover into our workouts in the gym. So breathing is very important so you understand how you can have different gears in your running as well as different gears in your workouts. So it's very similar to the whole phrase of start out like you can hold out. So if you have a 2 minute sprint workout, okay, go for 2 minutes hard, best you can. If you have a 8 minute workout and you go out of the gate at a 2 minute sprint intensity, what's the last 8 minutes going to look like? So breathing will help you guys be able to kind of learn how to increase and decrease and decel your intensity in your run and your walk. So what I want you guys to think about is your breathing pattern out and your breathing pattern in. What feels taxed? Okay, so I'm a 3 out, 3 in. I can maintain that when I'm running with more intention while I'm sprinting. So that is mine. But I know that when I start to breathe 2 out, 1 in, and so forth, that's very erratic. I need to crank down that intensity, slow down the effort of my run so I can be able to control my breathing again. It's really hard to do that if you're listening to music. So tip with that, don't listen to music. It will allow you to have that one-on-one to allow you to have some more focus as far as the intention of that. So breathing, do it in your easier runs so it has turnover and carryover into your more intense runs, kind of like when we're doing our drill work with a training bar or an empty bar or a PVC pipe. It has carryover and it has muscle memory. So it'll allow you to have some focus on those easier, slower times when we can have more focus on it so you can focus on other things into your run, such as the next two tips. Second tip, when we start to run with more intensity, or we're walking with more intensity, we're doing a lot more effort into our run, or we're running at a longer time than maybe we've never ran for 20 minutes and we've only ever ran for 15 minutes. Well, your body may be starting to kind of get tight and tense, and those shoulders are some of those first muscle groups to do so. So kind of like when we're hanging from the bar and we're doing a dead hang, we want to be nice and relaxed into those shoulders. So when we're running and we're really tight into those shoulders, learn to relax and kind of loosen those shoulders up. You will see and feel a huge difference when you do that for us, okay? The third tip is going to be leading with your hips. A lot of persons, when they are more of a shorter distance running, so 100, 200, 400 meters, they kind of have a tilt. I'll stand to show you in a second. They have a tilt. And so when that happens, that's going to start pulling onto the buttocks and the hamstrings, which are attached to the lower back. So it creates this really intense pressure and strain into the lower back, creating that low back pain. And who wants to run at a longer time period if it's uncomfortable and painful for us? So tip number 3 is going to be lead with the hips. So what that means is that when you see people running and they're running with that overright posture, if they were to come up erect or have more of a hips leaning or leading with the hips, that will allow them to have less pressure and less strain on that lower back for us, okay? So it'll make your runs more pleasant, all right? So those are the 3 tips for us as far as our running. So when it comes to running and building cardio and building endurance, I love the feedback that Chris and Aaron and Shane gave you guys this week on endurance and cardio, and how do you know your cardio endurance is improving. And cardio and endurance are 2 totally different capacities. So by improving your endurance capacity, it does allow you to develop more conditioning and develop more cardio endurance. But they are similar, but 2 totally different aspects. And so it kind of just goes into, well, what's your purpose? Do you have aspirations of doing a marathon? Do you have aspirations of doing a half marathon? Do you just want to be able to go and enjoy an hour of running that doesn't seem like it's painful or dreaded? Or Do you want to walk for an hour without having some pains into those hips, into the joint spaces? You want to be able to enjoy that quality of life. So you do have to develop the base, like Chris was talking about. Base development is key. So over time, as you have the capacity to be able to walk or to run for 20 minutes, then you can develop and change your strategy or develop a training plan, or just on your own, do your own, as far as kind of like how Chris has designed this, where he's giving you lots of different variations. So some of our workouts are short intervals as far as running, and some are maintain this pace. A little bit more effort than what you would in a easy run, but it's building your capacity to run at a longer duration of time for us, okay? But it is different as far as your cardiac output or cardio output versus your endurance, all right? You've got to build the base to develop the endurance to be able to do it. If you can do a workout for 2 minutes hardcore, ooh, I've got my heart rate right here and I'm really pumping out this much power, well, if you can't sustain that, if your goal is to do that for 30 minutes, well, you've got to develop the base first to be able to go for 30 minutes and then develop the power to do it during the 30 minutes. I loved Shane's tip as far as if we are trying to develop the ability to go from walking to jogging to running, and we're trying to expand that time period between, or we're trying to go from walking to running, and we get to where we're running for a minute, and then we get to a minute and a half, we get to 2 minutes, and so forth. Picking light poles where we're running, or picking a spot and kind of saying, hey, look, when I get there, I'm gonna run as hard as I can until this spot, and then really push yourself to do that as we're developing that mental toughness too for us. I think that was my biggest tips in regards to what we mentioned as far as through our round table and my favorite restaurants. So if it's a chill night and it's just kind of easy, no frills, go in workout clothes, Brewmasters for sure. If it is, well, even workout clothes or brunch or maybe even a nice night out, Brisas, love it. It's a nice cool joint. Do like Jay's. Jay's is a great alternative. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit longer than I tend to like, because I'm super hungry by that time. But I think those are going to be my 2 locations. So guys, if you have any questions, any tips, any criticisms, anything that you guys would like to add, plug it in here at the bottom, give some tips, and we will continue to work through this corona quarantine and keep striving and keep working hard. Guys, the biggest thing at the end of the day is enjoy what we're doing. We're trying to improve our functional fitness, sure, but we're also trying to improve our life as far as outside of the gym, outside of work, outside of the home, give our life some good extra additional years to come. So running is a great way to do that, but be kind to the body as far as enjoy it, okay? That's the biggest thing, is to develop the enjoyment as far as moving and grooving a little bit more. So guys, have a good afternoon, good week, good evening, and we'll catch you on the flip side. All right.